Hello everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I am showing you how I created this birthday card. So first of all, the items that I used are all from Mama Elephant, or almost everything. So we have the Fly With Me, Fly With Friends, and then of course the Slim Card Basics. So here you can see I have die cut all my parts of my card, and now I'm going to ink up my stamps with some distress ink antique linen, because I'm going to do some no line coloring with my distress inks. So handy to know, this is Strathmore Bristol Smooth, because it's really good for watercoloring. In my opinion, limit the amount of water still, but for what I'm going to do, it's just perfect. So now I'm taking all the browns that I have, because this card is for my father's birthday and he drinks coffee all the time, so I decided to make a completely brown card, referring to coffee and stuff like that. So I'm going to color these elephants in all shades of brown, including the balloons as well as my background. So since I'm doing no line coloring, I'm just going around the edges just to help myself, and then I'm coloring everything in, going back in with darker colors or with the same color but with less water, and so I just keep adding layers and layers. As I told you already in some previous videos, I am not an expert. This is just the way I roll when I'm doing some sort of watercoloring with my distress inks. So just so you know, I'm not an expert, but I really like this technique, and I told it before, but this was the way that I colored my images in the beginning before I had any markers or whatever. I bought a lot of those mini distress ink cubes, and this way I had already a lot of colors to use, and that was my coloring method. So I will be putting on some music now for the rest of the coloring, and I will be back afterwards. Now that the coloring is done, I am going to continue with my background. So for the background there is a lot of ink blending. So first of all, my scalloped back, I am adding a bit of that antique linen on the edges to get a more vintage look, just so that it's not that stark white behind everything else. And I'm adding it also on my clouds, taking a bit of purple tape to avoid getting my fingerprints on top of these pieces. And now I'm just adding a bit of that antique linen before adding my clouds, because I didn't want again that stark white to be all over those places where I'm not blending any ink on. Here I am using the My Favorite Things cloud stencil, and I'm just varying in my distress ink colors all the way to the top. Now that that is finished, I am going to splatter some browns all over, as well as my white gouache from Winsor and Newton. And then I will set this aside for a bit. Now onto my sentiment. Therefore I'm using one of the sentiments in these stem sets, "Oh Happy Day," to refer to happy birthday at the same time. And I'm stamping it out using my Memento Espresso Truffle, because it's a really dark brown and I really wanted to keep my colors in that brown area, so none of it is black. And now I am going to adhere everything. My background wasn't dry yet, and actually you should wait and I should do the same, but I'm so impatient, so I laid it on my distress ink cubes and I added some Big Mama foam tape from Simon Says Stamp. In my previous cards I asked a way to remove that backing, which is really taking a long time in the case of this foam tape, although I like it really. I got the suggestion to use a pick knife, a craft knife, or tweezers or anything like that. I must admit this video was before you all reacted to one of my previous cards, so I'm still sharing it this way, but definitely I am already using your hints and tips on some more recent cards that I haven't shown yet. But thank you so much for you all to react on my question. I really appreciate it, and I'm going with it, and I really like the solutions that you gave me. So here I'm still using the same foam tape. I wanted to create some more dimension, but not going over the top with it. So just adding some light layers. So here I'm figuring out my images and I'm adhering it. with some more foam, of course, and some liquid glue as well. To add some more details, I took my Trinity Stamps coffee bean heart sprinkles, and I'm so glad that I bought these ones because it fits perfectly with my brown theme. And I just lay them all across this panel, and then I adhered it with some liquid glue as well. So just so you know, here I'm just fixing up some smudging because I didn't wait till my background was dry. So I just took a damp paintbrush, and as you know, distress inks are water reactive, so I could lift up some of those smears that I had, and then I was happy with that as well. Just had to make my card base and adhere everything on top of this. So yeah, I buy pre-cut card bases, and this one is a bit too wide for the size of my slim card dies. So I just cut off the excess after I folded it, and now I am adhering my whole panel on top of my card base, and then this one is finished. So I really hope that you liked this card design and that you enjoyed watching this video. If you haven't yet, you can always subscribe to my channel. I would really appreciate it, and then you can see all my upcoming videos as well. If you have any questions, please leave them down below, and I hope to see you next time. Bye!